minus 9 minutes. Minus 8 minutes. Minus 7 minutes. Minus 6 minutes. Minus 5 minutes. T-minus 3 minutes. T-minus 2 minutes. T-minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
You got that right, Rick Regan. How about that? Just hang on, everybody. It's just me, your affable host in hour one. And then in hour two, Jersey Jim's going to be with us. And we go to sail on this Wednesday, episode number 1679. I'm channeling my inner Brian Williams. A nervous nation awaits. I'm talking about Canada. I'm talking about men's hockey. And you're going to have to help me out here, everybody, because I don't have the television in front of me. I'm going to try and wind this down by saying I don't like complainers, as you know, but I'll be glad when the Olympics are over. They're the bane of my existence with the games going on live on the other side of the world and blah, 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 blah. We kind of addressed this a little bit yesterday with Scruffy. A nervous nation awaits. Canada, I just see, has scored, however. 2-2 is the score in the quarterfinal against Czechia. And silly me, when we did this Wednesday of last week, Wednesday and Thursday, I actually thought that we would have, I should have known that people would have the Olympics on their television and the RP show on their streaming, or vice versa, however you crazy Canucks want to do it. But I should have known. So anyways, as we sit here, and what I thought, and I think we all thought, was going to be a cakewalk for Canada at the Olympics in this quarterfinal match against Czechia today. They're tied right now. And that's another reason why it's a pain in the ass, quite frankly. This show will replay later in the day on Game Plus television. It's going to re-air tonight in prime time in Las Vegas. These games are going to be over by then. So I'll be glad when it's over. That's all I'm going to say. But we got plenty to get to. Jersey Jim Biringer coming up in hour 2. He's going to talk some puck with us. Olympic puck. That's what the Americans say. I don't hear it a lot in Canada. And some football as well. Because I said, we said in our little thumbnail promoting today's show that there would be a football notebook. So we have that. Jeff, the Stamps fan, checking in from Calgary, says, is it time to start panicking yet? Well, no, thank God they came back and tied it 2-2. But this is the warm-up. This is what we do. We get into the quick six show topics and the big story. Listen, I find it really cute. I put it in my commentary today. I've said it here a few times. The networks that don't have Olympic broadcast rights, they're ignoring the Olympics. Like, they're not even going on. I get it. It's like Sportsnet and the CFL. ESPN's talking about the NFL. And, there is news today with the San Francisco 49ers, which in our football notebook, when we have more time right after the first break, we'll get into a lot more football. But that's my Brian Williams. A nervous nation awaits. 8:30 in Newfoundland. What would Brian Williams say about Canada trailing in a hockey game because it was 2-1 Czechia in the second period? Don't you know? First time Canada's trailed since 2010. And in a way, it's in my notes. I got a whole spate of notes here that I want to get to. The media coverage, in a lot of ways, is taking a lot of fun out of the Olympics for me. I'm going to say it. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. There's a lot of people there that don't know the rules, don't know sports, and for whatever reason, they've been dispatched to cover the games. That's taking a little bit of the fun out of it. But the main thing is, it's still 2-2 in the second period. It's not time to panic yet. But there are a lot of people that follow sports. There's a Twitter account called World Hockey Report. The guy's really funny. World Hockey Report. He's somewhere in Western Canada. Maybe you people know him. I don't. But when the tweet came out from Elliot Friedman and our buddy Ben Steiner, a U Sports PR guy, this is the first time Canada's failed since 2010. World Hockey Report retweets and says, and who won that year? Canada did, baby, beating U.S. So before I go to the other sports events at the Olympics, which frankly, today they were holding my interest a little bit. I have a lot of thoughts to get to on all of that amid my notes. I'll get into them right now. We have time in this opening segment here. This is today's Olympic update. Boom, 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 boom. Courtesy the Canadian Press. Winnipeg Jets defenseman Josh Morrissey did not play today in Team Canada's quarterfinal men's hockey matchup with Czechia. I thought we knew that. I thought that we knew that he was done. San Jose Sharks forward Pavel Regenda scored twice as Slovakia defeated Germany 6-2 in the Olympic men's hockey tournament to become the first team to advance to the semifinals. Canadian snowboarder Lori Blouin missed the podium in women's slope style at the games, finishing fifth behind gold medal winner Mary Fukada of Japan. Blouin had won the silver medal in the event in the 28 games in Pyeongchang. By the way, this is probably old. Can somebody help me out with this? Regina snowboarder Mark McMorris finished third in slope-style qualifying in Italy and is hoping to upgrade his place on the podium with a solid performance today. Is that over? I feel like it is. But I didn't see how it turned out. The 32-year-old McMorris has collected bronze in this event each of the last 3 Olympics. So I was stunned. It takes a lot to get scruffy out of bed. Hello, Kevin the Medium. It takes a lot to get Scruffy out of the bed early in the morning, but Mark McMorris doing snowboarding apparently did that. So I'm like, hey, well, Scruffy's out of bed. First thing I saw on Twitter, Scruffy's out of bed watching that. I'm like, well, I better turn it on and watch Mark McMorris. Here's my point. While the social media is kind of ruining a lot of my fun of watching it because there's just a bunch of noobs. They're not all the reporters are goofy, but some are enough to ruin my experience. But some snowboarder comes down. I'll tell you something about Mark McMorris, who I've known since he was wee high. His dad was my driver's ed instructor. He makes it so easy. He makes it look so easy. He's sliding down, like we do if you were taking a skateboard down the rail at the Cornwall Center out front of, that's the mall in downtown Regina, and twisting and turning and somersault. I'm like, oh my God, is he ever good? Not everybody's as good as Mark McMorris. And one of the snowboarders toe picked it. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to use a lot of my old school Sask vernacular here, but goes ass over tea kettle. It's a yard sale, stuff flying everywhere, goes right into the fence, crashes, and all of a sudden you see the camera guy run right up and put the camera right in the kid's face. That hasn't changed. The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. 5:30 a.m. Eastern, and I feel bad. I'm feeling bad. Get the camera out of the kid's face. Nope, we can't. It's the Olympics. We got to see how horrible this kid feels and show the world. It's a me problem. Anyways, we're getting to football next. That includes CFL, NFL, curling, if you can believe, NBA, and more Olympics talk. 902-518-3033 is the text line. We'll be back in a moment. It's brought to you by Western Dodge. You're watching the RP Show here on the Game Plus Television Network.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. ultimatefanzone.ca or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hold on tight, Moose Jaw. Professional bull riding is back.
PBR Canada charges into the Temple Garden Center April 25th. See the toughest riders take on the rankest bulls in a night of non-stop, edge-of-your-seat action. Whether you're a diehard fan or brand new to PBR, this is one show you don't want to miss. Tickets are on sale now at sastix.ca or at the box office. But don't wait, they'll sell fast. Professional Bull Riding Canada in Moose Jaw.
Proudly presented by Papikassis Developments Limited.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sasktix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Oh, why am I smiling? Because I'm me and I'm having a great day. But again, I think about this Canada-Cheshire game and I just have flashbacks of Brian Williams. A nervous nation awaits. Welcome inside Game Plus TV's coverage of Olympics 2026, Milano Cortina. That's where the invitation ends. Normally, I would tell the viewers to not be writing in on the chat and telling me what the scores are, but I need it. I don't have a viewpoint of the television set, but I'm going to move on to some other things here. John Ohm is watching in Winnipeg. He says, hockey on mute and RP show on full, baby. Kevin the Medium has checked in. He's watching in Texas, so he'll be on with us in this hour tomorrow. So, yes. Oh, thank you, James, who's watching in the Queen City. He writes in and says that Mark McMorris fell and finished 8th. Oh. Thanks for that update. 2-2, Jeff in Toronto tells us. Second period, Canada-Cheshire. Okay. Well, and by the way, clearly I could do 2 hours on the Olympics. No problemo. But a lot of you came here, maybe you're Olympics out, and I do have other things on the docket. I just want to mention John in Winnipeg says looking good in baby blue hoodie. You can purchase this for yourself at the rodpedersen.com store, RP Show store. Rep the show you love, rodpedersen.com. Click on store, and it can be yours. There is one thing that I wanted to mention here amongst a litany of Olympics news. One is sponsors are showing up more and more inside Olympic venues at the Milan Cortina Games, even as TV viewers mostly still see the familiar clean look. You do see, or maybe you don't, but I have people talking about, oh, nice not to have board ads, nice not to be inundated with gambling, betting odds, and whatever. The athletes aren't being paid, so it's not like the teams playing are scrambling to pay the bills and fill a payroll here. So that's one thing. But two, if you notice, and I heard this morning on NHL radio, and I'll say it again, put it in my veins. I love NHL radio because it's just straight hockey. Yeah, when I get tired of that, I switch to something else, But I didn't know this. Maybe you all did. You can't stay on top of everything. Apparently, Jeremy Swayman, the Team USA goalie, complained about the dark ads along the boards. And listen, I'm sure he got bashed for it because any of us say anything publicly, we get bashed for anything we say. Say God is great, we're going to get bashed by certain people. But anyways, and they said that they changed the boards because of Swayman's complaint. So I wasn't really paying attention to the Canada-Cheshire game and what was on the boards. But some people were laughing at Swayman for saying that. And I'm like, no. Of course, you kind of have to have been in his skates per se. But there was an angle from the USA game last week, camera over his shoulder, and it showed, folks, this shot came off the wall. You couldn't see where the puck was coming from, which now we're going to morph this into some of my stories. I get it. Because way back in a land before time, folks, when they first started putting ads on the ice, when dinosaurs roamed the earth, I used to practice with the Regina Pats as their goalie because our starting goalie, Chad Mercier, the Bonneville Bullet, had horrible back issues, and he could only play games. So every day we would go to the rink, and if his back problems flared up, our coach, Rich Preston, the Chicago Blackhawks career leader in shorthanded goals, would say, Roddy, get your stuff. Okay. I'd run out to my Oldsmobile, grab my gear out of the back of it, and go practice. And that was right when they brought the ads in. And when they put them on the ice, at the point, basically, you couldn't see where the shot was coming from. Because we're just used to it coming off a nice white sheet ice. We lost that argument eventually as goaltenders, the Goalie Union. But it looks like Swayman maybe won this. That's just one thing that I noticed, and I find it interesting. If it's true that he got it changed, that's a wild story. Jeff the Stamps fan says the board ads in today's NHL are way too distracting. Oh, I absolutely know. And as we've pointed out, this was there's no ads on the boards, but it is a digital rotating thing that says Milan Cortina, and Swayman complained about it. And by the way, that's another thing. It is a thing because in the Winter Classic in Miami, the Panthers got shelled 5-2. It was probably Sergei Bobrovsky's worst game of the year. And I had heard that he was having a tough time seeing the puck. He's playing in a baseball park for the first time in his life. And I get it. Of course, people were saying, well, Igor Shesterkin at the other end didn't have a problem with it. Not everybody's the same, bro. Do we know that? Do we understand that? There's a thing, color blindness, depth perception. It's a thing. I get it. Anyways, the analyst on NHL radio today was basically saying Swayman was just whining. So that's why I always stand up for the goalies. Yes, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. As usual, we go down a rabbit hole that I didn't expect. John in Winnipeg says sports are bombarded by ads, and Jeff in Toronto says, I've just tuned it out. I do too, and I'm going to move on. Thank you. Point 2. Oh, by the way, if you're looking for lunch plans, check out Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon. Come early and stay late at the place where friends meet, Pump Jack's Cathedral, Pump Jack's Weyburn. Have the shrimp tempura. Coconut shrimp. And tell me it's not the best you ever had at Pump Jack's. Speaking from experience here. Okay, we do have breaking news from the National Football League on this Wednesday. The NFL has announced that the San Francisco 49ers will be one of the participating teams for the upcoming 2026 NFL Mexico City game. The game in Mexico will be one of a record 9 international games in 2026 across 4 continents, 7 countries, and 8 stadiums, and will be played at the iconic Estadio Banorte as part of a multi-year commitment to playing games in Mexico City in 2026, 2027, and 2028. So obviously that's very cool. But what do I always say on these Wednesdays? This is the chance for you, the viewer, to be the co-host with me, the host. I want your thoughts on this. It's why Scruffy and I get along so well on the air, and similar Kevin the Medium too, who's going to be with us here tomorrow. Because I said, why, aside from the obvious, making more money, why is the NFL trying to play a game in new countries all over the world? Yeah, they'd been back to Mexico City before, but this morning, what'd I say? For the networks that don't have Olympic rights, like ESPN, they're all over this. The 49ers going to Mexico City and wondering who the opponent would be. And I just want to ask you, what is the end game on this? Because everybody just thinks it's all so random, and it ain't random. Nothing's random. Right, Kev, the medium? Nothing's random. Roger Goodell hugging Bad Bunny the second he walked off stage at Super Bowl. I'm like, okay, there's a plan at work here, and it's the National Football League. Who wouldn't think that they'd have a plan? Okay, some leagues don't, but the NFL clearly does. And my point is, it's not just selling tickets in new countries. And I said to Mitchell, Scruffy Blair, because I can envision a day that there's teams on other continents. And he's like, no, there's no way. They won't play a Super Bowl in London that kicks off at 11 a.m. How do you know? Which, I'm not saying he's wrong. That's why I'm saying the debate is fascinating. I go, similar when I say back to people taking the fun out of the Olympic Games. I'm not going to name the kid. He's been on this show as a guest, so he's complaining about the Olympic gold medal facing off at 8 a.m. on Sunday Eastern, which we all assume is going to be Canada-USA, but he's like, this is criminal. They're dropping the puck at 8 a.m. Eastern on the Sunday. Thank God one of my good friends, Armando Velez, from the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast, went after me. He goes, this just smacks of the world revolves around me. This doesn't work for my schedule. This is a problem. That attitude needs to end. What the hell is wrong? And by the way, he was summarily trounced by people who said, would you like them to play in the middle of the closing ceremonies? Like, what do you want? Oh, my God. So I don't know that it's the end of the world that the NFL would hold a Super Bowl in London or Barcelona or Rio de Janeiro. I kind of think that's where it's going. And that would have been a decent poll question today. Maybe we'll do it for tomorrow. Will the NFL expand to other countries? To be honest, it's not that hard to do. We've got the Blue Jays in MLB, the Raptors in NBA, the NHL is multi-country. Seems to be working just fine for them. And then you got guys like Roger Goodell, who, by the way, I do believe, having talked to the NFL people, and for that matter, CFL people, so Roger Goodell's got some serious stroke, like serious stroke. And I won't get into the bad side of that. Banning John Gruden for life because of a personal issue is one thing, but is this Goodell? He was the one hung in Bad Bunny. Would that be his legacy? When he steps down, we've got, let's say, 4 teams in England, and 4 teams in Spain, and 4 teams in Mexico. Come on. I don't think they're worried about what time the Super Bowl would kick off. See, and by the way, that's the other thing. Vancouver Eric checking in. He says Mexico expansion makes sense for the NFL. That's a huge population base that could support the NFL. 132 million. But that's the thing. You don't need to necessarily put a team there. I'm sure they are making enough money out of Mexico as it is. What's the last time you were there? It's all NFL gear all over has been for 20 plus years. As long as I've been going there. So they were already making money out of Mexico. So you're saying that they might put a team there, and I'm kind of picking up what you're putting down. By the way, we'll come back on that. It's the Quick Six show topics, and we go fast. We're brought to you in part by Outlaw Communications and Tony Plater, where creativity is a way of life. Outlaw Communications, specializing in strategic communications, leadership training, and clear conversational content that motivates your audience. I said there would be a football notebook here today. There's your NFL portion. We'll come back on that. But point 3, the Canadian Football League will welcome 28 prospects and free agents to the 4th annual Kicking Showcase this Sunday. The event will be conducted at Maranatha Christian School in San Diego. Representatives from across the CFL will be in attendance to take in the specialized combine. A number of past participants went on to find success on CFL rosters, including Carl Meyer, Jesse Mirko, Vincent Blanchard, Nick Constantino, and more. Combine season continues with a CFL Invitational Combine, followed by the CFL Free Agent Camp in Waterloo on March 6th. The main event, CFL Combine, takes place in Edmonton from March 27th to the 29th, at which time Corey Mace will be named Coach of the Year. So that's the latest news out of the Canadian Football League. And I have a couple things. That's the one. I mean, I got that news release from the CFL that they're going to be doing that in San Diego, America's finest city. That's what they call themselves. That's what's on this sign as you're driving into San Diego. And to be honest, I wouldn't argue. It's a hella fine city. Is it America's finest? I don't know. There's a lot of fine cities in America. But San Diego calls themselves the finest. And maybe the CFL is going to find some kickers there. But the other news that I saw out of the CFL, and by the way, here we go. They're talking about the NFL and Goodell's legacy. And come back in the viewer comments in a second, and we're getting up against it with a break here. But I did read the article at 3downnation.com about Zach Collaros, who met with the media in Winnipeg yesterday, and he's all fired up. Some, I feel like, fake news headline somewhere along the way said Zach Collaros has 20.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly, we built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hold on tight, Moose Jaw. Professional bull riding is back. PBR Canada charges into the Temple Garden Center April 25th. See the toughest riders take on the rankest bulls in a night of non-stop edgier seat action. Whether you're a diehard fan or brand new to PBR, this is one show you don't want to miss. Tickets are on sale now at sastix.ca or at the box office. But don't wait, they'll sell fast. Professional Bull Riding Canada in Moose Jaw.
Proudly presented by Papikasi's Developments Limited.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, well, we do what we can. As I said, I know there's a lot of people weren't watching 30 minutes ago when we went to air here. I'll be glad when the Olympics are over because the games are airing in the middle of our show. It's a real pain in the ass. But again, Brian Williams, what would he be saying? A nervous nation awaits. Welcome inside Studio 54. Oh, that's New York. Never mind. Ask Ron Duguay about that. 2-2 going to the third period. Canada against Czechia. A nation is on pins and needles. Darren is watching in Melfort where they do the Melfort shuffle, and he says Canada's running into a hot goalie. This morning I was running and I was thinking about, who's going to win this game? I'm like, the team with the best goalie. First thing popped into my head. Because it's not a best-of-7 series. And it's not like John Cooper doesn't know that. But he doesn't have Andre Vasilevsky in the corner of the room. And to be honest, I thought Bennington was looking decent early in this game. He's the best goalie Canada has. Laverne in the Frontier City writes in. He says, third period about to beginning. Canada is on a brief 45-second power play to start the third. Crosby got hurt midway through the second. Hobbled off. Nervous, exciting time. Yeah, here's the thing. Makes you feel alive, don't it? I was in the middle of that thought on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and Zach Collaros, but hang on. The breaking news from the NFL today is the San Francisco 49ers will be playing in Mexico City against an as-yet-to-be-named opponent in the 2026 season. And I said, what's the end goal here for the NFL? Is it just to sell tickets in all these countries? I feel like they could be putting teams and divisions in other leagues around, other countries around the world in their own league. Jeff in Toronto writes in. He says, Goodell's legacy will be making the owners a lot of money. I know, but he's already done that. But the one thing about guys like him, which I respect, it's never enough. I mean, did you watch the Cowboys documentary? People bring that up to me all the time because they know that I'm a Cowboys fan. What was it? The Gambler, America's Team, whatever. I can't remember. Whatever it was. The Cowboys thing that dropped this summer on Netflix. Jerry Jones going, the more I get, the more I want. If that makes me greedy, well, I'm greedy. They're all like that. World needs people like that. Believe me, it does. There's needs people like me too. People like you. Brent is watching in Toontown. He writes in, he says, more teams, more games, more money for the NFL. See, that's all of it. I just think he's already made them billions. For him to say, when I left, we had divisions in Europe and Australia, and because they're playing a game there this year. Talking about San Diego, who bills itself as America's finest city. It's just marketing. John Ohm in Winnipeg says, I love San Diego. I love San Diego. I love Winnipeg. I love Burlington, Ontario. I love wherever I am. San Diego is pretty cool, though. Yeah, but it's marketing. That's the thing. Our Cats and Bolts podcast, which we're going to be doing live this afternoon, where we cover Florida NHL hockey. I call it Florida's most watched hockey show. I don't know whether it is or not. It's pissed a lot of guys off. I don't care. It's marketing. You could have said it. You just didn't think about it. Same as Canada's team with the Rough Riders. I started that. Trust me, I did. Pissed off everybody else in the league. You could have said it. As it turns out, we had stats to back it up. Let me just walk this back for a second. Just get our mind off the hockey game for a second. Because, again, there'll be people watching this later. And when they do, they'll already know who won the game between Canada and Czechia. Jeff, the Stamps Peters fan, says, Zach Collaros sounds less than enthused about the 2026 season. I don't know. I guess we're reading a different article because what I read was him saying how excited he is about the offensive linemen they signed from BC, Broxton, the receivers they signed, Tim White, Tommy Neild. Zach, when he's enthusiastic, he's very infectious. When he's grumpy, that's also infectious. You want enthusiastic Zach if you can. But I had a note written down here about that. Pretty much every team's walking away from free agency going, oh, yeah, we feel great about our team. Everybody does. Let me equate it to something. It's like when you are in the playoff draft for the Stanley Cup playoffs. If you do it the way we did it, my draft that ran for 20 years in the Queen City, you go around a team and you do a snake format draft, just like you would, all the big drafts, real drafts. And everybody stands up from the table, shuffles their paper, puts them under feels great about their team. Everybody feels great until you start playing. So Yeah, I never heard anybody say Winnipeg won free agency. I didn't hear anybody say that. I didn't hear anybody say Toronto won free agency. Didn't hear anybody say BC won free agency. I saw people say Sask and Calgary won because they retained their top guys, and there's merit to that. I personally like what Hamilton did, and I've seen people that have agreed. I see those that say Edmonton and Ottawa won free agency. And those in Winnipeg are saying they did. It's very quiet in Montreal, other than Montreal Gazette writer Herb Zurkowski fighting with the former owner, but that's a story for another day. When I said I love wherever I am, Jeff the Stamps fan says, you wouldn't love Calgary today. It's freezing. You'd be surprised. I just wouldn't go outside. I admire those that do. The Cowboys, the people that keep the power on, the cops, first responders. Well, we get to sit inside. Really miss my time at the casinos in Calgary, and I don't even gamble. I was thinking the other day about what was my favorite casino there. All the same for different reasons. Grey Eagle, Ace Airport Casino, Century Downs, made great friends. Had the coaches of the teams come down. Dave Dickinson and I'd like to think, bonded in Calgary. He explained why he turned me down for an interview many years ago, which I'd been holding on to for years. And he knew. That was a great day. Carlos in Indiana writes, and he says, maybe the NFL should give NFL Europe another chance if they're looking to expand internationally. How do we know that they're not? That's my point. John Ohm says, I love this show, in all caps. Thank you. And we love our viewers. Oh, by the way, 902-518-3033 is the text line. 902-518-3033. It's brought to you by Western Dodge. Are you ready for a new ride? Head to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where the deals are real and the service is legendary. Bob writes in. He says, good morning, Rod. It's Bob from Medicine Hat. Again, I watch your show and the Olympic Canada and Czechia game. You have a great day. It's very cold here in the Hat. Winter has returned. Thoughts and prayers. Wayne's watching in Victoria, BC. As somebody said to me recently, Florida North, where the old people go. God's waiting room, some would say. Wayne says, hey, Rod, I think that the kicking game in the CFL is going to change starting in 2027. Teams are going to need kickers that can make long-distance field goals. Wayne goes on to say, I can't read the minds of those in power in the NFL. I just don't believe that they'll end up with teams in countries all over the world. How would they ever put that together for a schedule? They would only play amongst each other. Trust me, I thought about that. Bigger scale, but comparable to what the Continental Football League is doing this year with our good friend Mike Kelly as the commissioner. They got teams in the north and teams in the south of America. They're just going to play each other. And then the winners of those divisions will come together and play. So the Europe division will play each other. The Australia division will play each other. The American division will play each other. All leading up to the Super Bowl in God knows where. I hope it happens before I die so I can say that I was right, that the NFL is looking to expand beyond America, because that's what I think they're going to do. We'll be back. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus Television, podcast, WQVZ Radio.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca. Or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote your apple, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Okay, 17 minutes left in this hour, and I still haven't got to a lot of the things that I want to. But again, rep the show you love. RP Show merchandise is available now at rodpedersen.com. Just click on store and get our business manager, Joe, busy sending you some cool stuff like T-shirts, bunny hugs, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats. We got it all. It's not their fault that they don't know. And what I'm talking about is this. Keep coming with the updates, everybody. Canada, Czechia, third period, 2-2 in a quarterfinal game at the Olympics. When I say it's not their fault, they don't know. I've mentioned it a few times. I host this other show, Florida's most watched hockey show, which I truly believe that it is, but the Cats and Bolts podcast, we had a debate who's got more pressure on them in these Olympics, Canada or USA. And some lady wrote in just in the break, I was checking the messages, and she says, I think USA has more pressure. And I'm, oh, dear. You don't know. It's not your fault. You've maybe never been to Canada. The whole country is sitting there like this right now. And in America, nobody even knows the game's on. So, with all due respect, yeah. The Junior Hockey Report for the Mad Greek Eatery. The Western Hockey League's Moose Jaw Warriors have 2 home games to look forward to this week. Friday against Prince Albert and Saturday versus Prince George. 2 great opportunities, it sounds like to me, for you to check out the Mad Greek Eatery in Moose Jaw. Experience authentic Greek flavors right in Moose Jaw. Do me a favor. Please go down there. Look up Johnny Yatridis, the Mad Greek. Tell him you saw us talking about him. It helps us out a hell of a lot here on the RP Show. Mad Greek Eatery, open until 11 p.m. Main Street, Moose Jaw. Also, the WHL Prospects game featuring 44 draft-eligible players is on tonight in Langley, BC. The Eastern Conference roster includes Warriors forward Riley Thorpe. I had an NHL scout text me yesterday. He was watching this show, and he said, last chance I have to watch your show before I get out to Langley. And I said, hey, have fun. Say hey to Michael Bublé for me. He's one of the celebrity coaches in tonight's WHL Prospects game. And if anybody sees that NHL scout wandering around the Vancouver area, put on the RP show and tell us Channel 924 or Roger Shaw 230 for him and realize that we're available in his town as well. By the way, I said there was things I haven't been able to get to yet. Number one is the poll question, which silly me, bad me. The poll question is brought to you by EMJ Marketing Elite Speakers Bureau. If you want a keynote speaker to transform your event, contact Joe at emjmarketing.com. Will it be Canada, USA in the gold medal final? I'll be honest, back to Lorna saying the U.S. has more pressure on it. They don't, but they do have pressure. They do. And I kind of, as a former voice of Team Canada, I would not, fine line between arrogance and confidence. Let's say I enjoy the confidence of Canadians when it comes to hockey and Team Canada itself, because I've been inside the walls. We just expect that we're going to win. And maybe that was the problem today. And we're doing this Cats and Bolts podcast this afternoon, a live stream. We want to talk about Canada, U.S. and Sunday's gold medal game. It's just like it's a foregone conclusion they're going to be there, aren't they? And by the way, the results are like 53-47, 53%, 47%. No. And I think a big part of that is, frankly, so many Canadian hockey fans just hate the U.S. so much, and Matthew Tkachuk hate Team USA, and maybe U.S. as well. They just want to say, no, we're going to get there, but they're not. And as it turns out, Canada's got their own work to do. I'm anticipating that you are all going to let me know if and when there's a goal, because I got a few things going on here, not the least of which is hosting a television show. 2-2 in the third period. Why am I anxious? Oh, and by the way, the debate was on. I said the CFL is having a kicking camp in San Diego this Sunday at the Christian school, one of them. And the guys got going on about they need new blood in the league. And blah, 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 blah. It's a debate that for a football Friday, the importance of the kickers with the rule changes and moving the field goal, the uprights to the back of the end zone. But I'll say this, the human side of the game, Brett Lawther released by the Saskatchewan Roughriders a week ago Monday. I've texted him and to come on the show, and I haven't heard back from him, and I get it. I think people don't understand. He's 35 years old, just had a baby, lost his job. Scary feeling. Scary as hell. So and by the way, there's nobody else I'm interested in talking to about this than Brett Lawther. I could get another kicker. He's the one I want to talk to. So wish him well, and I don't know whether he's going to be playing in the CFL. I don't even know if it's going to affect him or not. But again, released by the Rough Riders, everybody just sees it as transaction. Say, just had a baby and lost his job. That sucks. Sports update. I haven't even got through the Quick Six Show topics yet, but here's your sports update brought to you by the Ultimate Fan Zone. Major League Baseball Players Association leader Tony Clark has resigned from his position after an internal investigation revealed an inappropriate relationship with his sister-in-law, who worked for the union beginning in 2023. And you thought baseball was boring. This comes just months before the current CBA is set to expire. Tiger Woods is still recovering from a torn Achilles, but he had a simple one-word answer when asked if this April's Masters was off the table for him, and the word was no. And for the college football fans, Notre Dame quarterback C.J. Carr opens as the 2026 Heisman Trophy favorite, just ahead of Texas quarterback Arch Manning, Oregon quarterback Dante Moore, Ohio State quarterback Julian Sayin, and Indiana quarterback Josh Hubert round out the top 5. All quarterbacks. That's your top 5 odds from BetMGM for the 2026 Heisman Trophy winner. Say it again. Oh, my God. This gym buddy of mine, his name is Jan. His name is Jan, which I'll never forget, because those of us with a little age remember the old band Jan and Dean, the old rock duo. He always calls me Tim. Sure. He wanted to talk about the Miami Hurricanes quarterback, and I'm like, no. Season's over for me, bro. Sorry. He's a Miami Hurricane season ticket holder. I get it. He lives and breathes Miami Hurricanes. The U. I'm like, that's over, man. So when I talk about who's got more pressure on them, Team Canada or Team USA in the Olympics, it ain't close. I shouldn't have even asked the question. John Ohm says, I feel for Brett Lather. Good guy. He's a great guy. Yeah. That's the sucky part of it. Still 2-2, eh? I assume that if Canada had scored, I would hear from you people. By the way, kudos to Donald S. Cherry for being named to the Order of Ontario. Trust me, I saw it. Laverne in the Frontier City writes in, oh my God. He says, white knuckles time, RP. Palat scores. 7 minutes, 42 seconds left in the third period. 3-2, Canada's down. I don't know what to say about that. As Forrest Gump would say, I don't know what to say about that. Just so you know, Jersey Jim coming up in hour 2. We will be talking puck. When I think about the poll question today, will Canada and the USA meet in the gold medal final? My answer is not only yes, God willing, yes. Otherwise, I guess I'll be sleeping in on. I won't be watching if Canada's not in the gold medal final. I just won't be. Nope. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Point 4. Shortly after the Olympics wrap up in late February, the Rock League will launch. It's a new pro curling league featuring a collection of 60 of the world's greatest curlers, complete with team names. The Rock League hopes to harness the expected momentum from Milan Cortina. There will be 6 teams of 10 curlers, including multiple former Olympians. Each team will have its own logo and will mix together players from a wide range of nationalities. The Rock League will begin in April with a 1-week preview season in Toronto, and then beginning next January, it will kick off its tour with a 4-week season that includes stops in Saskatchewan, Nova Scotia, New York, and Ontario. They just opened a arena in West Palm Beach for hockey and curling, and Wayne Gretzky is an investor. So I threw that in there, that whole, what did I say the other day? Running up the flagpole and see who salutes. A pro curling league. I feel like I want to talk about that a little more. Coming back next hour. Jersey Jim will be with us, and we won't just be talking Olympic hockey. We will also be talking about the National Hockey League and the trade deadline coming up not that long after the return to play. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back in a moment. Any more thoughts on all of this? 902-518-3033 on the Western Dodge text line. You're watching the RP show across Canada and 33 states on the Game Plus television network, and going to Nevada right after this.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
It might be a good day to stay off social media. Come to think of it, maybe most days are. I'm not sure. Welcome to the RP Show, everybody. Hour 2 on the Game Plus television network across Canada and 33 states in the USA. And welcoming viewers across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. I'll say it again for the benefit of those that have just tuned in. I said it an hour ago. I'll be glad when these Olympics are over, for the biggest reason being they're going on the other side of the world, and we're trying to do a live television program which airs later in the day, like in Nevada, or podcast form, even on radio in the U.S. South on WQVZ radio. Shout out Ryan O'Media. What's going on, brah? He airs us later on in the afternoon. So I don't know. Like here's where we are when I say it's a good day, maybe, to avoid social media. 3-2, Cheshire leads Canada in a quarterfinal at the men's Olympics. Men's hockey. It's not the men's Olympics. It's Olympics. Men's hockey. I'm getting worked up. And I appreciate the viewers that are writing in live because I don't have a screen in front of me to follow the game. I'll be glad when it's over. 902-518-3033 is the text line to reach us. The viewers, that some are watching on YouTube, of course, and you can reach us there in the YouTube chat. It's funny because it's true. Our poll question today is, which was posted in the morning, will it be a Canada-USA gold medal final at the men's Olympics? Well, by the end of the day, people will know that might not even be a thing. And Canadians are riddled with anxiety at the thought of their team not making the gold medal game, let alone winning the damn thing. Anyways, Jim Biringer will be joining us. Coming up, today's guest, Talking Puck with Jim. It'll be a lot of Olympics with Jimmy, Jersey Jim, from NHL Full Press and NHLRumors.com. But he wants to talk some NHL, too. He was sitting there in New Jersey watching our interview with Golden Knights general manager Kelly McCrimmon yesterday live and got a lot out of that, as did a lot of people. So let's get down to business, as Tiesto says. Your Olympic update. Michaela Shiffrin's Olympic medal drought is over. The American skiing star had 2 dominant runs to win the women's slalom at the Winter Games by 1.5 seconds. That ended Shiffrin's streak of 8 Olympic races off the podium. Lawrence St. Germain was the top Canadian in 12th. And, well, listen, I just want to talk about the hockey at the Olympics. Hang on. Sponsors are showing up more and more inside Olympic venues at the Milan Cortina Games in terms of advertising, even as TV viewers mostly still see the familiar clean look. And we talked about this an hour ago. The athletes aren't making the money, but the International Olympic Committee is. So they're always going to try and find new and innovative ways to make money. And I will get it off my chest here. I mean, I've seen a lot of people saying they've enjoyed watching the hockey without all the board ads and the on-ice ads and the betting props in the corner and all the stuff, prop bets, odds. And it's like, well, the players aren't being paid, okay? So they're not scrambling to pay the players. But the story to come out of all this that I found so interesting was Jeremy Swayman, the Team USA goalie. I heard it this morning on NHL radio. Shout out Steve Koulias, fellow scorer along with me, saying that Team USA goalie Jeremy Swayman was complaining that he couldn't see the puck coming off the boards. I get it. I saw a camera angle from behind the net over his shoulder. I couldn't see the puck either because you see it. Once a goalie, always a goalie. And you're not going to convince everybody. And, yeah, I understand it comes off as a little bit of whining. That's what the hosts on NHL radio were accusing the Bruins goalie of. But I get it. Nobody cares, but sometimes it feels just to get it off your chest. Because, as I said earlier, in the 90s, 3-3. Thank you, James. Yeah. The viewers are writing in live for those that just tuned in. Because as we go to air, the quarterfinal game between Canada and Czechia is still going on 3-3. Anyways, in the 90s, I used to practice with the Regina Pats, which in retrospect didn't seem like a big deal at the time. I felt really old, but I was only 22. But our number one goalie had injury issues, and he only played games, can you imagine? With the Regina Pats, the world's oldest junior hockey team. So if he wasn't feeling good one day, the coach, Rich Preston, would tell me to grab my gear and I'd jump in net. And that was right when they came in with painting ads on the ice. And I just recall shots coming off those ads on the ice. You can't see the puck. Nobody gave a rat's ass then, and they sure don't now. But what I heard on NHL radio this morning was that they actually changed the ads because of Swayman's complaint. I don't know if it's true or not. By the way, if you're in the area, check out Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Pump Jack's Cathedral, Pump Jack's Weyburn. Ask for the coconut shrimp. Thank me later. 902-518-3033. A lot of what we do here is no different than all of the other shows. We talked for an hour in Canada on Game Plus. Now we're into hour 2 on Game Plus. We're just talking about the same things, just a little bit of a different angle. For instance, because it's new to you folks in Nevada. Point 2. The National Football League has announced that the San Francisco 49ers will be one of the participating teams for the upcoming 2026 NFL Mexico City game. This spawned a heck of the debate with the viewers, which I don't think we're over with yet. And I want to, because we're on the air in this specific NFL market of Las Vegas, get the opinions of the Raiders fans. This game with the 49ers in Mexico will be one of a record 9 international games in 2026 across 4 continents, 7 countries, and 8 stadiums, and will be played at the iconic Estadio Banorte as part of a multi-year commitment to playing games in Mexico City in 2026, 2027, and 2028. When Jersey Jim joins us in the next segment, we'll put it to him. I'll say this again. I've said it many times. I don't mind doing the show alone. I can do it, but I'd rather not. It's episode number 1679 of the RP Show. We're in season 8. I like to get other people's opinions. That's why when it's just me, I ask for the viewers. Reason being, I strongly feel the NFL, and it's maybe Roger Goodell. This guy's got a lot of power and a lot of smarts, and he's made the owners a lot of money. Are they just simply trying to grow the brand, which any good business does? Is that where it ends? Or is it, do they want to put teams in these other locations? Because that's what I think, that's where they're going. I mean, thank God we're not hearing any more about Bad Bunny. That's his brother. Bad Bunny. I didn't mind the halftime show of Super Bowl at all. I didn't know anything of what he was saying, but the beat was good. The show was good. And it is a lot of the reason that people say, if you didn't like the halftime show, you're just hating to hate. And that's, or voicing your displeasure, whatever. Maybe you were watching Kid Rock on the Turning Point USA halftime, whatever. The main point was Roger Goodell was happy with it because the second Bad Bunny walked off stage and went underneath the stands, Roger Goodell was waiting for him with a big old hug. And I'm like, there's something going on here. Oh, great. They're going to overtime. Canada and Chester, yeah, because of course they are. Clearly, nobody has the ice rented this afternoon. Okay, thank you for the update, guys. Jeremy checks in. I appreciate you, Jeremy. Kansas City Chiefs fan. Writes in, he says the Chiefs are moving around money. They're going to be heavy in free agency. That's the thing, as I was saying earlier. You got your NBC, USA Network here in Canada, CBC, CBC Gem, Sportsnet, TSN. Whoever's got a piece of the pie, they're all about the Olympics. For the networks that aren't, like ESPN, they're all over the National Football League. And that's why when Jersey Jim comes back, or when he joins us in the next segment, I want to ask him about the NFL thing. Jersey Jim, sure, he wants to talk a little Olympic hockey too. But I'm going to tell you, if Canada's not in the gold medal game, it's really going to suck. One thing about Kelly McCrimmon, who was with us yesterday, the general manager of the Vegas Golden Knights. If we'd had more time, and maybe I'll say the next time when we interview him, I'd like to apologize for any disrespectful things I would have said about him back in the day when we were rivals in the Western Hockey League, but I just wanted to win. And I knew as long as he was running the other team, our top rival, we wouldn't. He knows that. But he said yesterday, he'll be cheering for Canada in the gold medal game. As will I. But if they even get there. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, it's not fair to give a negative review of the halftime and be labeled a hater. Well, life's not fair, A. And B, you're right. That's why I said it's just you voicing your opinion. Vancouver Eric writes, and he says, how do NFL season ticket holders feel about losing a regular season game to international games? I would suggest they'll get over it. By the way, Hour 2 is brought to you in part by Outlaw Communications and Tony Plater, where creativity isn't a hobby, it's a way of life. From strategic communications to leadership training and conversational content, we help your message connect and inspire. I will say this, Vancouver Eric, Americans don't get wound up about the things that Canadians do. I don't know why that is. They just don't. The Dolphins, they lost a game to Germany a couple of years ago. Nobody said a word. Never heard anybody say anything about it. The only thing I've heard griping from a football fan around here in South Florida was when the Miami Hurricanes went to the national championship last year and none of the fans could afford tickets, but that wasn't even the Hurricanes' fault. That's NCAA football. Welcome to sports in 2026. I'm sorry, I got to ask you people, to please proofread your posts when you're writing. I want to read some of these, but I can't. The viewers are writing in with who they think will score the overtime winner, mindful of the fact 97% of our viewers on podcasts will be later in the game. Darren in Melford says Suzuki. I'm going to say Connor McDavid. Who scores for Cheshire? They're not scoring, so I'm not picking a scorer for them. 902-518-3033. I'll say it again. I admire the confidence of the Canadian hockey fans that we just expected to be in the gold medal game. I'm already seeing it on social media. They haven't even lost yet. What an embarrassment by Ken. We don't have time in this segment. Jersey Jim is coming in next, and it is 1:11 Eastern for the live viewers. 11:11 Mountain. Envision a positive outcome. If you're going to overthink good. See how that works out, rather than overthinking the worst outcome. That's today's tip. But again, I've never heard anybody complain, ever, about losing a game to an international market amongst NFL fans. It's just not something they get worked up. Oh, well, just save a few more bucks. Watch on TV. John Ohm in Winnipeg. Ohm says, Mitch Marner. They're all saying Marner. He scored. It's over. Canada won. The dream is still alive. The dream is still alive. Oh, God. Of course, Mitch Marner. Cue Leaf fans' heads popping off. Thank you, everybody. I have to remind you, there's still a semifinal that they have to get through. Thank you, Laverne from the Frontier City. Listen, shows like today aren't going to be the norm. Although I haven't hated it. It's been kind of fun bringing in all the viewers' opinions and you guys updating me. Because, again, I don't have a screen around me because I never needed one until today. So now the dream is alive of a Canada-USA gold medal final, which we'll get into with Jersey Jim next. I think here's the thing about worrying, okay? It's like rocking in a rocking chair. It doesn't get you anywhere. It just gives you something to do. Because earlier in the day, I was worrying about Canada losing. Not today, not getting to the gold medal final and seeing Matthew Tkachuk skating around the ice with a USA flag. I think they call it a premonition. I'm like, no, I can't. And hey, we're going to get into the Tkachuk debate. I really want Jersey Jim's opinion on this, and he's probably logged in now watching. The little Twitter spat that I got into with the Oiler Nation the other day, which I'm a big boy, I can handle it. To this day, I swear to you, I'd give you a kidney. I would bet you an organ that the Florida Panthers would not trade Matthew Tkachuk for Leon Draisaitl. I'm not joking. I didn't say he's a better player. I didn't say that. But that's how important he is to this hockey team. And Jersey Jim's been here a lot, and he's been to Edmonton too. He's got a pulse of the whole league, Jersey Jim from NHL Full Press. Jimmy, and don't be afraid to not agree with me. A lot of people are afraid. They're not these viewers. My God, they love arguing with me. But we'll pick that up. Puck, some NFL. What have we been talking about today? With Jersey Jim, when we come back, you're watching across Canada on the Game Plus television network and 33 states, including New Jersey and California, and across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote your rebel, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All righty then. Welcome back, everybody. It's the RP Show across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and across Canada and 33 states, including New Jersey, on Game Plus TV. Oh, there he is from New Jersey. Jim, listen, that wind chill you just got, that gust of wind from the north, that was Canada exhaling, as you know, with Mitch. Canada beating Cheshire 3-2, whatever the final was, 4-3 in the quarterfinal, man. The dream continues for a Canada-USA gold medal, at least as we sit here right now.
Yeah, I mean, what a game right before we come on, right? You're on the air for the entire game. I just, right before I popped on, Canada wins it, Mitch Marner. Oh, hey, Mitch Marner doing something, big. Again, he had the assist in the Four Nations gold medal game to Connor McDavid. Now he scores the game winner. Macklin Celebrini with another assist. Yeah, Czechia gave him everything they wanted and more. And, I just put it out before. Jordan Binnington, like Grant Fuhrer, he'll give up 3 to 4 goals a game, but the next one's not going in. And the next one didn't go in. Binnington was outstanding for Canada in this game.
This is a gigantic poop burger for the Leafs fans, is it not, to see Marner deliver on this stage?
Oh, absolutely, 100% he is. That's definitely, for me, that's 100% a poop burger. Look, he went to Vegas. He's been delivering for Vegas. Now he's delivering for Canada on the big stage. And for everybody who ran him out of town in Toronto, well, this is what he can do on a big stage. And you know what? He wasn't the reason they lost Toronto. He wasn't the reason they lost all the time in the playoffs.
Rob is watching in Las Vegas, by the way. Shout out Rob Campbell. He says Bennington won this game for Canada. Do you agree?
100%. I do agree. I mean, after the Palat goal goes in, he makes a couple of saves. He robs Natchez a couple of times. Cervenka, Pasternak in the slot. And then in overtime, the Czechs had a chance. And he robbed Gudis. I mean, he robbed Gudis when the game was 2-2 right before the Palat goal that just snuck under a 7-hole. And Bennington, to me, was, look, Bennington kept Team Canada in the game. Let's be honest. If it wasn't for 29, 97, and 17, where's the rest of the team before overtime? Like, I'm going to be honest. It was like it was a 3-man show before, Nick Suzuki potted the season-saving goal for Team Canada, because before that, they didn't show up. I think outside of the top guys, the rest of the team didn't show up. And, yeah, it stinks when you lose Sidney Crosby, no doubt. But I think Jordan Binnington, hands down, was the best player on the ice for Team Canada today.
Well, by the way, let's hear from the Vegas viewers. Rob in Las Vegas says, Vegas Golden Knights legend Mitch Marner. While we're on the topic, you were watching live on Game Plus TV and Silver State Sports Entertainment Network our interview with Kelly McCrimmon yesterday, the GM of the Golden Knights. What did you take away from that interview, Jimmy?
He's just a fascinating individual, right? He knows the knowledge of the game from his days in junior, how he brought that to the NHL, how he's not going to make rash decisions. But, ever since he's been the GM of the Golden Knights, he knows when to tinker with his team and when not to tinker with his team. And, I expect Vegas to do something at the trade deadline. He wasn't going to give away any secrets. That's what I'll say. But he understood that, how much the Olympics played into a lot of the decisions, how the play's been for certain players. I think he expects his team to be a lot better than they are, but understands the circumstances this year. But he kind of hinting that, Stone and Marner have been playing really well together this season, and you're seeing it here in the Olympics as well. I expect the Vegas something at the trade deadline, but I just to Kelly talk hockey all day. I really could.
Sorry, my some internet issue. You got me here, Jim?
Yeah, I got you here. You still got me? Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. By the way, it was the thing with the McCrimmon. I knew that asking about trade deadline deals was a no-fly zone. I knew that asking about Carter Hart would be a no-fly zone. So I didn't tell. We just told some old stories and talked about how he goes about his job, and I thought it went real well. Coming back, let's talk about that. We'll get back to the Olympics in a second. Second half, NHL deadline will be here before you know it. Do you expect anything right out of the chute?
I think I'm going to circle the Los Angeles Kings for me. I think that's a team that I'm going to circle because of the injury to Kevin Fiala. I know he's going to be out. They say he's going to be reevaluated in a couple of months. He's on LTIR right now, not season ending, but he did, suffer a broken fibula, and he had the surgery over in Italy. So I'm expecting the LA Kings to be active on the market. Do I think a trade will happen right away? I maybe a couple days right after everything happens. Once we get back, I think teams are going to want to settle in. But I think the first couple of games is going to be telling. I think a lot of GMs this week are starting to lay the groundwork because a lot of them took a week off to watch Olympic hockey, and most of them are over there anyway. But again, you want to take a vacation, you want to give your brain a reset. But I think the LA Kings are a team to circle. They need a center, but now they need somebody to replace Fiala. So to me, I think LA is a team to watch. And, again, now Edmonton with Paul Coffey back behind the bench. Let's see how they play defensively because I know they're looking to add on the back end as well.
Jimmy, you're a true professional as we get the internet set. You're the best, man, but you know how I feel about you. Before we talk about Sergei Bobrovsky and his potential availability, because they're starting to talk. See, you smiled already. We were on this a couple of weeks ago. But before we get to that, the Tkachuk versus Leon debate. Am I complete? Even the Panthers staff are now tweeting about how, listen, they're not taking Draisaitl over Tkachuk. I get that Oilers fans think I'm nuts. It's fine. It's not. Everybody thinks I'm nuts. Maybe I am.
I mean,
do you agree with
that
me
means I'm not. That means I'm insane too. that means I'm in the same category as you. But there's this box, right? Like there's this box that people put people in. I'm outside the box, like over in a way over another quadrant. So I say to myself, I'm taking Tkachuk over Draisaitl. I love Draisaitl as a player. Don't get me wrong. I love Leon Draisaitl. I think he's one of the top 5 players in the league right now. But if you're asking me to take who I'm taking, big game moments, give me Matthew Tkachuk. And look, people saw what I tweeted yesterday. One of the Edmonton Riders is going to stay nameless because, I don't do that kind of stuff. But again, they say Matthew Tkachuk was invisible in the final for the Florida Panthers when everybody was talking about everybody else. I'm like, the dude had 7 points in 6 games with a torn abductor muscle, torn groin, all this stuff. Oh, by the way, scored the game-winning goal in Game 6 to win the Stanley Cup. It was very noticeable. He just wasn't there during practice and morning skates because he was nursing an injury. But Matthew Tkachuk delivered for the Florida Panthers, and he continues to deliver. Again, I saw it today with Leon Draisaitl. He tried to do it himself. Germany just doesn't have the horses and the depth, and it was the same issue with the Oilers. You can have 97 and 29 out there all you want, but it's the rest of the team that's going to win.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Now we're getting somewhere. And the viewers do have questions for you, Jim. So just hang on. Everybody loves Jersey Jim. Not as much as I do, from NHL Full Press and NHLRumors.com. But I'll say this, man. I saw they were talking about this on Fox Sports Radio the other day about the Olympics. And somebody said, the media is complaining about blah, blah, blah. It's not just fans. It's media is complaining about blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no. The media is fans. And in a perfect example, forget about the Olympics, is this guy, and I know exactly who you're talking about because I saw the tweet too, ripping Tkachuk. I'm like, you're making yourself look bad, bro. That's the one thing, Jimmy, maybe you and I are just too old school, but I know that I think that's why we get along because we're cut from the same cloth and we cover these NHL events together. You're not a fan, and I'm not a fan. And the day I'm
not a fan.
I'm shutting it down.
Yeah, me too. I mean, look, there's sometimes I'll say some things that are fanish, but when I write and I come on and I talk professionally, I'm going to give you my analysis and I'm going to critique everybody. I'm the hardest guy on my own team. When I cover the Devils, I'm one of the hardest critics of the New Jersey Devils. And certain players and things don't work a certain way, but I'm not going to keep ripping everybody all the time. If I see positivity, I'm going to bring it. But if there needs to be criticism, I'll criticize. So, I mean, to me, I'm not a fanboy when it comes to certain players. I expect top players to perform on the biggest stages. And I've seen it with Connor McDavid now, right? He's tied an Olympic record now with best on best, right? He's tied Solani and Koivu from 2006 when they were on Finland. Now I expect the same thing come USA when they play Sweden. I expect the top guys to deliver. And if they don't, you're going to hear the criticism. And I'll be the first one to criticize.
You're not joking, bro. By the way, Jimmy's at NHL Full Press and NHLRumors.com at his Substack. Go follow him on social media, and you can subscribe to his Substack there. You say some things sometimes about the Devils, and I see the headlines. I'm like, oh, Jim. I hope that doesn't get you in trouble. But, hey, you get the respect from the fans that way. 902-518-3033 is the text line for Western Dodge. From trucks to SUVs, Western Dodge has what you're looking for. Visit their showroom or drop in their website, westerndodge.ca. I'll appease the viewers with some of the questions. Jeremy's asked multiple times if you see the Red Wings being active here the rest of the way.
Yeah, I do. I think Steve Yzerman knows that what happened last year with Dylan Larkin. Larkin called out his GM because he didn't make a move and it hurt the morale in the room. But I like what Todd McClellan's done with the Red Wings this year. They're playing the right way. Obviously, we're seeing what Lucas Raymond's doing on the world stage. He's done it this year with Detroit. But I think they still need a center, and I think they're going to try to go get Vincent Trocheck along with a couple other teams. I think they're going to call about it. I think they're going to look to add some pieces to make a run because it's now or never for the Detroit Red Wings, right? Like, that's been the criticism of Steve Yzerman and his plan. It's taken too long. You don't want a decade. You don't want to be like Buffalo, right? Well, yeah, everything's finally come together this year. Now go add a piece here and there and put yourself in a good position to make the playoffs and make a deep run, because I think it is now or never in Detroit, because I know there's a lot of unrest in Detroit right now.
Well, they're not really young either. You got Patrick Kane there. You got Tarasenko there. You got guys that want to win. Shabbat, I think, still there. The guys that have been there and want to win, or they'll be gone. They won't hang around. By the way, Darren writes in from Melford. Listen, I got NFL stuff I want to get to with you, and I think you know that. I think you saw me talking about it earlier. But Darren says, Jordan Binnington is the boss of Team Canada. Shouldn't be any doubters anymore. Well, when you look at where the Blues are in the standings, there's a lot of people pointing fingers at Binnington, and I think he would be the number one goalie on the market. There are others. Do you see he's got to be moved, isn't he?
He could be moved. I mean, I think it all depends on where he wants to be moved, right? He's got trade protection, so he has some say from where he wants to go. And we heard the Edmonton Oilers were involved in trying to get Jordan Binnington earlier in the year before they picked up Tristan Jarry. But again, he didn't want to go to Edmonton. Edmonton was on his no-fly zone, and his no-trade list. So what happens now? Where does he go? What and who are the contending teams that really need a goaltender right now? Right? Like John Gibson's playing well in Detroit. The Islanders have their guy. Logan Thompson's in Washington. Carolina just signed Brendan Bussey. Like, is he going out west to help somebody? Lucas Dostal's in Anaheim. Vegas has their guys, right? Unless they try to make a move for a goalie. The Central Division, all the top teams have their guys. So there's really not a lot of movement for a goaltender right now at the trade deadline. I mean, I think if the Blues are going to move off of Binnington, I think it's a summer move, in my opinion.
Yeah. This is funny. Hockey game ends, our viewership. Or it also coincided with you coming on. That's probably everybody wanting to tune in and see Jersey Jim. Listen, I will get to that NFL stuff, I promise. But, I do see things differently, and sometimes ahead of everybody else. And there's the Bobrovsky trade talk. I've seen it been on Panthers podcast down here. Like last week, I was afraid to even bring it up, the even notion of trading Bob. But the thing is, his contract's up. He hasn't extended. I'm not saying they want to get rid of Sergei Bobrovsky. What I'm saying is they must have at least thought of it. Jim.
I think it's an option, right? I think you have to think about it. It has to be a conversation, right? Like Bill Zito wouldn't be doing his job if it wasn't a conversation. But he has a 16-team no trade list, right? Now, for those that I have to do a little explaining here. For those that think the cap hit goes down because he's been paid, that doesn't change. Nothing changes, right? He's still a $10 million cap hit. So if people say the Panthers can retain, who's going on season-ending LTIR for the Panthers to retain half of Bobrovsky? That means one of Marchand or Barkov or somebody else who's hurt is done for the rest of the year. Well, we know Bill Zito believes this team can still make the playoffs. That's why Barkov's not on season-ending LTIR. That's why Kulikov's not there. That's why Seth Jones is not there. They still believe they have a shot to make the playoffs. The first week of resumption of play is going to be telling for the Florida Panthers. If they're still 8 points out, if they're not within 4 points at the trade deadline, like I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. And I think they would have to have a serious conversation about it. But again, Bobrovsky doesn't like to negotiate during the season. Maybe they've taken this time right now where everybody's away but Bill Zito is over in Milan in Italy. But maybe he's talked to Bobrovsky's agent. We know who the agent is. But Bobrovsky chose Florida for a reason in 2019. He wanted to go to Florida. He lives here in the offseason. He lives there in the offseason, right? I don't think he's going to leave, but the conversation's going to be what the contract looks like. Because it's not going to be 3-4 years like everybody else. It could be a 1 to 2 year deal. And if I'm Bill Zito, I think it's 1 year at over 35 contract that gives us the best chance to build around everybody.
We'll see. And if Bob doesn't want to go anywhere, then he won't go anywhere. That's the kind of respect that they have for him. But
Rod, real quick on this. If their chances of making the playoffs, unless you're going to get Jesper Wallstedt from Minnesota, your best chance to make the playoffs is with Sergei Bobrovsky between the pipes because they don't have anybody else. Tarasov's hurt.
The playoffs start as soon as the Olympics are over, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, the NFL announcing the 49ers are going to play in Mexico City this year, and they're going back, and they're going to play there the next 3 years. What I was saying earlier is, what's the end game? And we don't have a lot of time left here, but is it just to make money and play neutral site games? Or do you see them putting teams in other countries eventually before even Roger Goodell's term is done?
I think it's a moneymaker, but I also think they want to reestablish a team someplace. And I think their goal has always been to get a team over in Europe, right? They wanted an NFL team in Europe. They've always wanted an NFL team in Europe. They had NFL Europe for many years, but like I think they want to have a home base somewhere for a team that they can expand. Hey, we're really international now. We're doing all these games everywhere. Yeah, it's a moneymaker, but it's the NFL, right? The NFL is global. We know the NFL is global. Just look at Super Bowl numbers, right? We know that. But I think they want a team in another country. And I think it will be before Roger Goodell gets out of being the commissioner.
Eric in Vancouver says international games are why the NFL expanded its schedule. And with a question mark. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. That's my point. They don't need to put teams in other countries. They're making billions as it is out of those countries. But I also know how they think. Commissioners and billionaire owners. And it's like... Right. That, and also we want to be the first league to be the first worldwide league. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, the world needs people like that. Or I don't think like that, but these guys do. Right? So
yes,
that might
they
be, do. Might be kind of cool if they do. All right, Florida Jim. Whoop.
Ooh.
Jersey Jim. I mean, are you making your next? We got 30 seconds. When's your next Florida trip planned, Jimmy?
Playoffs?
Oh, perfect.
Playoffs.
Okay.
Tampa playoffs.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So
they might. Well, they like us in Tampa too. They like us in Tampa.
Yeah, they do.
All right. We'll see if Tim McGraw's still hanging around. All right, Jim. Quick plug for what you're doing.
Yeah, Full Press Hockey, YouTube. Check it out. Nightcap Recap, Specialty Media, Substack. At Jersey Jim, follow me. Google me like Kirk Signetti. You'll find me.
Google me. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate you, bro.
Take it easy. Appreciate you.
Jersey Jim from NHL Full Press and NHLRumors.com. Check him out. Shake it up. We'll be right back on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote your effort, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Patreon.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. RP Show continues. Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV. Fun debate, isn't it, on what's the NFL's end goal with these international games. Greg is watching in Cowtown, and he writes in on the Western Dodge text line. He says, hey, Rod, I think the NFL is looking at a 4-team Europe division. London to New York is not much further than New York to L.A. How dare you bring a broad scope thought into that? It's funny because I bring that up because during training camp this year for the Florida Panthers, I was talking to Doug Plegans, the outstanding voice of the Panthers, and I said, hey, Dougie, I saw that you got married. Did you do a honeymoon? He goes, yeah, we went to Spain. And I said, it's a long way to go. And he goes, not really. He goes, same distance as Edmonton. And we did that a lot. Miami to Spain versus Miami to, So, yeah, Jimmy was saying he thought they would put one team in Europe. I'm thinking, no, a whole division. I'm with you, Greg. Is the point on that. Sports update on this Wednesday. The Seattle Seahawks are going up for sale in accordance with the wishes of late team owner Paul Allen. Allen's estate announced today that it has begun the process of selling the team, which is just coming off its second Super Bowl victory in franchise history. Investment bank Allen & Company and law firm Latham & Watkins will lead the sales process, which is estimated to continue through the offseason. NFL owners must then ratify a final purchase agreement. Talk about selling high. What I saw was this will be the highest price tag of an NFL franchise, highest sale ever, which wouldn't surprise anybody. The estate said the sale is consistent with their dad's directive to eventually sell his sports holdings and direct all estate proceeds to philanthropy. Seahawks have been in the Allen family since 1997, when Paul bought the Seahawks for $194 million from then-owner Ken Behring. Canada's men's hockey team is moving on at Milano Cortina 2026. The Canadians got a scare from Cheshire earlier today in Milan, but Mitch Marner of the Vegas Golden Knights scored in overtime to send the Canadians through to the semifinal with a 4-3 win. Who we playing? It doesn't matter. Paul Coffey is back behind the Edmonton Oilers bench. The former Oilers defenseman and Hall of Famer returns to the coaching staff after a previous 2-year stint leading the club's defensive corps. He had returned to his role as a special advisor to ownership and hockey operations in July. I've done many, many events with Paul Coffey. I love him. If we have time in the next segment, I'll tell more stories. But in my hometown, we were doing an event together. And he says to the room, like 600 people there, why do we play hockey, guys? To have fun. No, to win. You want to have fun? Buy an RV. Go to Mexico. We play hockey to work, to win. And then when you win, it's fun. I'm like, oh my God, I love you. Rich in Edmonton writes in and says, Paul Coffey is a legend. Where was Rich says, I need new kidneys after that Canada game. It's so cute. The lady Lorna wrote into my Panthers and Lightning podcast. She goes, there's more pressure on the USA than Canada in the Olympics. I'm like, oh, is that what you think? Because you're wrong. Nobody in the U.S. even knows the game was on today. Well, the hockey fans did. But all of Canada was needing new kidneys, like Rich in Edmonton. Arlen Bruce, what's up, AB? He says, God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada. He says, definitely watching USA tonight and tomorrow. Well, here's the problem. The game is this afternoon. And by the time it airs in Nevada, the game will be over and we won't know. But we know there's a God. We know there are hockey gods. The question is, do they want Canada and the USA to line up in the gold medal final on Sunday? Please, baby hockey Jesus. Can the country handle it? We barely made it through a quarterfinal today. Whew. I got some more Paul Coffey stories I'll get to next. And NFL. Hey, AB, are they going to put teams in Europe? Arlen, you're NFL alum. We'll be right back with overtime after this. Yeah.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. Okay, welcome back, everybody. It's overtime for Overtime Hockey Lanes. We're coming at you across Canada, a very happy hockey nation, after we beat Cheshire in overtime on a Mitch Marner goal. The fallout has been nothing short of amazing. I opened the show by saying it might be a good day to stay off social media. At that point, we were losing 3-2 to Cheshire in the third period. Canada comes back, wins 4-3 in overtime. Golden Knight star number 93, Mitch Marner, scores in overtime. A poop burger for Leaf fans. They ran him out of Toronto, said he doesn't show up in big games, and now this. From the Cats and Rats podcast, they cover the Florida Panthers. They're watching and write in. It's Kirby. He says, what a win. I said it had to be a point shot to tie it. As we sit here right now live, USA plays Sweden Wednesday afternoon. By the time it airs in Nevada, the game will be over. I don't know. As I said, if there is a hockey god, it will be Canada and the USA in the gold medal final. But we entered this day, quarterfinal day. It's a long road to get to Sunday's final at 8 a.m. Eastern. 5 p.m. in Nevada, which I would hope people will be up to watch it in the Pacific time zone. Oh, and by the way, big hockey fans at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, where skill and fun collide. Kirby, would you do me a favor and go over to Overtime Hockey Lanes? Spend an hour there working on your shot and tell Randy and Michelle we sent you. That would help us a lot. Family-run business at Overtime Hockey Lanes. It's an amusement park for hockey players. I got a whole list of things here. From Kelly McCrimmon's interview yesterday, the general manager of the Golden Knights, which people are still talking about. Should have known, and God bless the viewers today. I thought that there would be nobody watching this show and we would talk football all day, quite frankly, but I should have known our viewers would be watching the hockey game on the television and streaming the RP show, or vice versa. Either way, we all got through it together. And I should have known that would be a thing. The debate over Matthew Tkachuk versus Leon Draisaitl is a fun one, too. Because I saw this post about what's the greatest international hockey team ever assembled. Certainly the greatest Team Canada team. I mean, the cat's out of the bag. We are in Nevada, and I live in Florida, but I'm from Canada, lifelong Canadian hockey fan. Kelly said it's okay. The GM of the Golden Knights yesterday said he's cheering for Canada in any international gold medal game, regardless of the opponent. So the point is, it takes different kinds of players to win. And the point is, I've gone back, a lot of us have, I think, and watched clips from the 87 Canada Cup. Mario Lemieux, Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, Paul Coffey, Rick Tocchet. Go check the bench for Team Canada, by the way. You'll see the exact same Rick Tocchet on the bench for Team Canada. Some people are just winners. Now, I don't know Rick Tocchet. I've interviewed him, but that doesn't mean I know him. But the greats of the game say, you win with this guy. He totally different player than Matthew Tkachuk. But the point is, what the fans don't understand, and that's why I was okay with saying that Florida Panthers would not make a trade of Matthew Tkachuk for Leon Draisaitl. They wouldn't do it for a million reasons. But so many of the fans think, oh, you want to build your team with the 20 best players. That doesn't work. That's called an all-star game. That's not called a championship team. Big difference. And Rick Tocchet wasn't a bad player. Matthew Tkachuk's not a bad player. Tkachuk is an all-star. I'm sure if you looked it up, Rick Tocchet would be in all-star games too, but he wasn't on the top line. That's Messier, Gretzky, Lemieux territory. But there's a place for a Rick Tocchet, just like there's a place for a Matthew Tkachuk. So the debate's been fine. The hockey people know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and here come the typical Canadian hockey fans. C. Lightning writes in, he says, Canada better get better on faceoffs. Czechs were winning them early. are winning them clearly. Guy, they won. Can you just enjoy it? Let the coaches coach. Oh, Rich in Edmonton writes in, says Paul Coffey is a legend. I was doing an event with him. This was another one, not in my hometown. This was in little town east of Tisdale, Zenham Park, Saskatchewan. And they introduced Paul Coffey first to come onto the stage. And now to interview Paul Coffey, Rod Pedersen. And the host goes, best-selling author, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, two-time Grey Cup champions, voice of Team Canada, blah, 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 blah. And I come out, it was not a big deal to me. I come down and I sit on a stool because I'm going to interview Coffey on the stage, and he looks at me and he goes, oh, what a resume. I should be interviewing you. And I was like, don't make fun of me. And I talked to his agent after, Scott, and he was like, no. Coff appreciates that. He's that kind of guy. He's interested in the people around him. He appreciates people that have accomplished stuff. I'm like, oh, wow. And we had such a great time that night. He's just so special. And I find it quite interesting that he's going to be back on the bench of the Edmonton Oilers. I guess, as they say, the Oilers got to do something. Just like this interview with Kelly McCrimmon yesterday. Who's in first place in the Pacific Division? Oh, yeah, Vegas. Who expects Vegas to be active ahead of the trade deadline? Anybody who knows how these guys operate. It's never good enough, and that's fine. That's how you win. Tomorrow, by the way, we're going to do a Major League Baseball preview with my buddy Greg Zahn. Man, we've had a great week of guests, haven't we? Zahn will be with us, World Series champion with the Miami Marlins. At the time, the Florida Marlins. Blue Jays great. Zahni's going to be with us, and Kevin the Medium. We're going to look all across MLB. So get ready for that. And we'll be talking Olympics, hockey, of course. Where's my pen? Live at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, if anybody cares. Cats and Bolts podcast, that's ours. See you tomorrow, RP.
That.